Our previous web snip identified that potentially up to 20% of the contractual value has been overcharged by the service supplier during the COVID-19 period, plus a liability increase in terms of redundancy has been loaded back into the account as a result of the end of the furlough period. So what do we have to do about that? Well, I think it's a case of balancing the books. So the first thing we have to do is to understand exactly how we may have been affected in terms of the 20% and the loading of the redundancy. The liabilities that you've accepted will be within your contract, and therefore the first phase is to investigate the contract fully. Where does the liability of redundancy sit? This isn't circumventing employment law, this is to say who pays the bill in the event that. Do remember to review the change and variation process just in case what has originally been written in the contract has been tempered. Check to see whether you have some kind of suspension clause that enables a different set of contractual terms to apply as a result of COVID-19, and obviously to review what the charges and the pricing costs are related to the contract. That gives you an understanding of what you should be liable for. The next phase of that then is to understand exactly what you have been charged for. So you have to check the invoices that have been presented to you, the charges within that invoice structure, and if necessary you have to now go to timesheets of both the managerial resources and the delivery resources, especially around maybe the engineering side, to understand exactly where those resources have been deployed and on what activities they've been deployed. Including the question that says, were these guys furloughed or were these guys not furloughed, which of course is your furlough statements. And that will show you what you are liable to pay and what you have been charged. And it's the delta that you're seeking to understand more fully. And the next phase, I guess, is defining the objective. You may not feel that it's appropriate as a client to go after the money, recover the money, or you may suggest that it is, but you have to have an objective. What are you actually going to do? What is your negotiating position going to be? Are you going to accept, for example, the redundancy liability transfer into you, or are you going to say, look, I'm not going to mess around with the people, but what I am going to do is adjust the contract to ensure that that liability in future is referred back to the service supplier themselves. And of course the final phase then is to interface with the contractor and reposition the relationship according to the objectives that you have. I would recommend that the contract is adjusted through the change or variation procedure in order for you to track exactly how these liabilities are to be managed looking forward, especially if you're accepting the cost this year but you want to relate that to some kind of returned benefit in 2021-22. 20% and the future redundancy liability are costs that can be ill afforded by clients today. Therefore, Stop and Think's recommendation is to go recover that, go balance the books, and then look to the future relationship post-furlough in a positive light, but in a stable, contractually balanced manner.